Hello and welcome to Apex, where your weekly motorsports news recap is. Normally we do our news recap first, but this week I'm going to because I'm a little bit of outraged NASCAR races that took place this past. Let's start with the recaps of last week's racing. So for the truck predictions, Jack William Byron for the win, who ended P14. And I had Corey Heim, who ended P6. Your winner was Daniel Hemrick. Your remaining top 10 was Ty From at 2, Jake Garcia at 3, Smith at 4, Ben Rhodes at 5, Corey Heim at 6, obviously, and Delora at 7, with bouncing back from last week's disaster in 8, Stuart Friesen at 9, and Lawless Allen at 10. Gain was Tyler Ankrum, 24th to 2nd, gaining 22 places. And your most places lost was Caden Honeycutt, who went from 3rd to 26th, losing 23 away. And your DNF were Frankie Muniz, Corey Day, and Ryan Roulette. Now, I'm going to be very frank. I did not watch this race. I don't know what I was doing, but I was probably praying that I would get the right classes for next semester. So, Jack, did you watch the race? And if you do you have a sort of mini recap?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't notable, really, at least compared to obviously what we saw the next day. Um, it was a fine Martinsville race, I thought. Um, there were some moments, right, as you'd expect at Martinsville, but it certainly doesn't, like, nothing stands out after what we saw in the Xfinity race. But it's always nice to see Daniel Hemrick win. I guess always nice is saying a lot when he doesn't really win that much, but I think it was Ankrum even in his post race interview where like the first thing out of his mouth was like, "Man, I'm happy for Hemrick." Like he's just one of those guys that's been around the various series for a while. Good guy. Um and,
Clean racer?
it's a good sign to see him win. For the most part, I think he kind of controversially doored someone for a championship in Xfinity, if I remember right. But that's like different. Like that's last lap of the championship race. Like, and
No,
it wasn't.
that's Matt Kenseth banter.
You can no, you can watch the and I mean Dord. I don't mean like right reared or something. Like he just
Okay.
eight wheels turn better than four into the last corner to just like
Oh, so it
slightly
ended
edge
with
out the
Forza.
championship. Yeah, but like less bad than that. um,
Gotcha.
But like you can go back and look at like the replay of that. All I remember is it was my freshman year, and I was rooting for him because he's like good guy in that race. And I just remember that when he won, I fist pumped so hard that like I was on the bottom bunk of like a bunk bed in my dorm, and I punched up on the like kind of metal on the underside, and I cut open my hand from watching that move.
God. That's not
But
good, Jack.
and he also does a flip when he wins, and so it had been a while since
Oh,
he'd
I
done a
like it.
flip. Um,
That's cool.
but yeah, I don't know. It
All right.
my main takeaway is just that I'm happy for the guy, and I think it seems like most people are.
Yeah. Uh, on to the Xfinity race. So predicted Eric Almirola. The give me. Little fruit there to take. Sam Mayer. Eric Emerald finished Sam Mayer P5. I win again. Um,
I don't think anyone won in this one, man.
no, realistically, no, nobody won. Your winner was Hill. Your remaining top Sheldon Creed at P2. Again, not being able to win at Martinsville. It just seems like he's cursed. He just can't Martinsville. Justin Allgaier, P3. Brennan Poole or Sam Mayer, obviously P5. Dean Thomas P6. Daniel Dye P7. Ryan P8. Chris Wright P9. And Sammy Smith in 10. Most places gained Burton, who went from 38th to 11th, gaining 27 places. And your most places lost was Connor Zilic, who went from 1st to 28th, who lost 7 places. Were Jesse Love, Anthony Alfredo, Kyle Sieg, Christian X, Matt Snyder, and Nick Sanchez. Um, I'm going to be honest again. I didn't watch 99% of that race and
You didn't
turned it
miss much.
on. So I'm gonna be honest. I was getting ready for work, so I had to shower. I had to lock in because it was my in ever shift, and it was a late night, which means it's normally chaos. And I turn on with like when it was at and Jack. Do you wanna take it away? And
Nah, I want you to take this one.
well, um, a man may or may not Sammy Smith decided if I can't win, neither can you. Tanner Gray, I forget his name. I mixed,
Taylor.
there's two Grays. Taylor Gray, that's his name. Neither can you, Taylor Gray, and decides to not break in the final and takes not only some of the people behind him out, but also the leader. And guess who swoops in the most undeserving win of the season? Austin Hill.
And he knew it too.
He knew that he didn't deserve that shit, and like, man, man, dude, there's actually an article I brought up because of this race and my opinions on it, but we'll get to that during that article. But what a he had, man. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jack?
No. It one guy I feel particularly bad for is Zilic because he had like so much go wrong for him. Like it felt
Yeah.
like he got into like 5 separate incidents. It was
Oh, Helio Castroneves did?
yeah, but like it wasn't his fault. Like
Damn.
yeah, it was just tough. It was a tough watch.
Oh, that's not very. Onto our Cup race at Martinsville. Jack Alex Bowman, who finished 27th. And 2 weeks in a row, I've guessed the Cup winner correctly. Last week, I had Larson. This week, I had Denny M.F. Hamlin as the best short racer. And was I right? Denny Hamlin took the win in second. Christopher Bell. Bubba and Wallace versus second. Thirds in a row. Chase Elliott in fourth, Kyle Larson in fifth, Chastain in sixth, Priest Mike in seventh, Joey Logano, his first top 10 of the season in P8, Chase Briscoe in P9, and Todd Gilliland in 10. His gain was Ryan Blaney, to 11th, 20 places, and the most places lost was Jack's pick, Alex Bowman, third to 27th, losing 24 places, and your only DNF was Austin. Right as the announcers were saying we might not have a DNF at Martinsville for the first time ever, Austin Cindric was getting rolled into the garage for a battery issue. Great race,
Okay,
Denny M.F. Hamlin.
to be fair to Bowman, he was running near the front until he got wrecked. I just want to put that out there.
I just, he could have if he didn't get wrecked. That is true. But if my grandma had wheels, she would have been a bike. And
Screw
or
you.
or there's a second one. If my mom had balls, she'd be my dad. Thank you, Max Verstappen, for that amazing sound. Uh, I'm such a dick. Um, yeah, Denny Hamlin, baby. He's winning the championship. I've been saying this all year. He's winning the man.
Yeah, he's good there. Was it what his first in a decade to finally get it done?
Yep, first in a decade, finally got it done. I'm so happy for him. I haven't been watching now decade. I've only been watching for 2 years. This is my second year watching it full time. So, man, what a man! And he held number 11 against the whole world, or the world again. What was number 11 against the world?
11
Some
against the world, I think. Yeah.
yeah, 11 against the world. Did I not give? Oh, okay. I I'm
Wow.
choosing the same as you, Jack. No, I
Wow.
was gonna. Well, no.
Wow.
There's a reason. No, there's a reason. No,
Wow.
there's a reason. I
Wow.
didn't know what. No, no. Actually, we'll get into predictions
Wow.
now. Now that Jack said, um,
Hey, you said it first. You
so
said it before I was
so
saying
I
wow.
so I'm going to be honest, right? The Xfinity. So let's get into the Xfinity predictions for Saturday. The Xfinity race at Darlington, April 5th at 3:30. Now I don't know if Cup drivers are racing at. I did not
It's
find anything
Ross.
that's.
It's Ross, Chase Elliott, and Christopher Bell are the three Cup regulars that
Oh,
are
I'm
racing it.
changing my pick.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, oh.
Yeah. That's right. Go pick Bell.
Since 2022, Chris 50% winning percentage at this track. He's raced two and won one, so I'm going with Christopher Bell.
Sorry, citing winning percentage over two races is kind of funny, but like fair enough.
I'm gonna be honest, Jack. Listen to me. I winning percentage, or well, technically, I did average place for. I did average place for the past two, and I got it right. So I'm just gonna keep
You also have been making
winning
your picks
approach.
before me for the past two, so
That is true.
yeah.
Hey,
So I was
eventually
gonna
get
say
it.
Larson at Homestead was that felt
You
like
picked the
Larson
same
had
as
like
me.
my like negative odds
I
versus the
know.
field. Like
Oh, I see you've done something. Jack, who do you have for Darlington?
I have Ross Chastain because it has been far too long since I have seen a watermelon smashed on a racetrack, and I want that to happen again. And he's going to be running in JRM equipment, so he'll have a car that's capable of getting it done. And Darlington is one of those tracks that, you're. I mean, it's similar to Homestead in the way that, like, people who excel at riding the wall tend to, like, be better there. People who don't end up with that kind of stripe at the end of the race, or at least as bad of one, tend to be better there. But really, how it plays out in the lower series is it often feels like a lot of the veterans end up better there. And so I wanted to pick a cup regular, and I wanted to see watermelon. I'm not gonna lie, I just want
Watermelon.
to see watermelon.
Water my melon. No. Um, let's get to Sunday. The one Japanese Grand Prix is happening 6th at 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you, F1, for fudging my sleep schedule twice in 4 weeks.
You know my
I
favorite
will
part of
find
this?
whoever makes these start times, I will find you.
You know my favorite part of this? It's not even a good time
What?
for Europe.
No,
And it's also the exact same time as the Las Vegas GP was.
I'm pissed. No, that me off. The fact that the Las Vegas GP is at damn a.m. Like that pisses me the fudge off.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, I have Lando Norris winning the Japanese Grand Prix, and it's allegedly going, and I would love to pick Max, but that McLaren is too damn good for anyone to compete. And Lando Norris, his game, he's right now, he could be very much not at his peak right now. As of today, he's peaking right now, and he's dominant. Didn't win in China, but in Australia, he showed everyone who's here to win. And Lando Norris is my pick in the rain, in the snow, in the shining light of the sun to win this race. Jack, who do you have?
So I guess we have some news to get into in a little bit, but
Yes.
In the meantime, regular on the F1 grid, been in the series for quite a few years. Native of Japan, Yuki Tsunoda. I think he's going to manage to pull out a win. For no reason in particular. I just think that it would be a really interesting story after,
Yeah, no
his
reason
how
in
his career has
particular.
gone in F1.
No reason in particular.
Well, hey, look,
Not
look,
like
look,
there's a
look,
certain
look.
article that would
The
have.
RB has been fast. He's qualified pretty well, and so then theoretically, if he gets some upgrades on what he's driving, then he might
You know
find
what? That's a fair
himself.
prediction. Let's see. Let's
Yeah.
see. Um. Also on Sunday, there's the Cup Series, the Goodyear 400 at Darlington, also on April 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Um. You know, personally, for most intermediate tracks, would but it is Darlington, and I take a little bit of a risk, and I'm taking quotation marks because I have Joey, and I'm going to predict three in a row. I have Joey Logano winning the Goodyear 400. Jack, who do you have winning the Goodyear 400?
I have Kyle Larson. This is a track that races pretty similarly to Homestead, which is the main reason for it. Um, and so this is one where it's a little harder to predict in the sense that like Homestead, it really is the same few names that run really well there until you get like a Chris Buescher win. But Darlington can be a little messier, and so it can be a little harder to predict. But I still feel like going with a guy who's shown how steady he can be up against the wall is always going to be a good bet here.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. I mean, Kyle Larson, again, he's in a Hendrick. There's always a chance what track he's at that he's going to win.
Oh yeah,
Most of the time, there's a damn good chance. The best driver, arguably, on the grid right now.
especially when the Penske's are having kind of a tough start to the year. Although that
Yeah.
just kind of seems on par for them. It seems like they just, the last few years
They
have just
suck
turned it on for the
everywhere
playoffs.
but the playoffs. Yeah. They suck
Exactly.
everywhere but the playoffs. Let's get into our news articles. So get into F1. There's a big news that's gone around last week. And
No.
it was that Yuki Tsunoda was promoted to the second Red Bull, swapping with Liam Lawson. So Liam's going to RB, Yuki's going to the main Red Bull team. Um, just I 90% of 100% of my body wants Yuki Tsunoda, but my brain is telling me he's just another driver, and I hope that I am wrong. For I pray because he's really funny. He's a great personality, and it's to open a restaurant one day. He needs to make bread, and that Red Bull seat will pay him bread if he does well. So I got Yuki in 5. Jack doesn't understand that joke. I don't
Oh,
think.
I
Maybe he
do.
does. He
I
does.
think I'm just on a
Uh,
slight delay.
Jack, who do you? Look at this whole fiasco.
So, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit when there were rumors of it. And, I mean, we wrote it off because it is ridiculous. I am firmly of the opinion that it's ridiculous that Lawson was ever put in that seat, that this should
Yep.
have been Yuki's shot to start the year. So, in a way, I'm not upset at it because I feel like he should have been there. But it is way too early to do that to Lawson. All you're doing is playing into your reputation and Helmut Marko's reputation and all of that for ruining every young driver that comes through there and having such a short leash and being in terrible conditions to try to like actually grow a career, right? And now Lawson is getting sent down. At least he's still in F1, but now he's getting sent down and swapped for Yuki after 2 races, right? Where like the first week was like bad, but I don't know. It felt like there was still some improvement going into, the second race where like, yeah, at least give him 5 races to figure it out. And I get that, they're not happy with the car. They, at least argue that Yuki's gonna help with developing the car, all of that. But it's so early to do that, and now it's a shit show, honestly.
Yeah, I'm on the same thing. Like, I'm happy for Yuki. I think he deserves this win. But giving up on a driver that quickly, just 2 races into his season, is not the right move. I think if you were gonna get promote Yuki at some point, just give him the seat, right?
Yeah.
Also, like, notice how every driver that has been axed by Red Bull, axes got to Red Bull, has done well elsewhere, right? Just real quick. Pierre Gasly. In Red Bull, he was terrible. In Atari, he got, and in Alpine, he's been very good. Tip to the car, he's been very good.
Oh yeah, and that is a
Think
tractor.
that car and Pierre Gasly is dragged to the points and even a podium last year. Think about looking on names. Carlos was never there, but like think
I
Alex
mean,
Albon, right?
and he was the
Alex
most
Albon was
infamous.
awful.
Yeah, he was like the most infamous, explosively bad driver in that seat.
Yep. And look at him now in Williams, being their driver against Carlos Sainz, which I guarantee 90% of the F1 world didn't think would happen 2 races into the season. Right? Alex
And
Albon is outperforming that car by eons and is scoring not just on the edge of points, but well into the points every race. Like, Red Bull called him, asked him to be the second driver again. Before they signed Liam, they asked Albon if he wanted to come back, and Albon said, no, thank you, next. I mean, good on him, but like, they just ruined drivers. Think of Checo, too. A race winner before he got to Red Bull. Yeah, it was good for a little bit. But so Daniel Ricciardo was good for a little bit. Once he truly had to face Max, he crumbled and left. Right? And Daniel Ricciardo could have won a world championship at some point in his career if given the opportunity. But like you have so many you give up on or that you just throw out for Max. And I get, you're trying to find a driver that can pair with Max. Giving up on a driver quickly like they have every time they've had a young second driver is nuts.
yeah, it there's just no tolerance, even though everyone understands that. Like, I mean, this starts and ends with the fact that Max just drives weird, right? That he
Yes.
likes his cars kind of, for anyone else, like disastrously like twitchy, right?
Hmm.
And you're throwing guys in a car like that have, for good reason, never raced a car like that. Like, that's on the edge that much. And you're
Actually, I have a
expecting them to
perfect
perform right
comparison.
away. Go for it.
So, do you know the game Owosu or Usu or Yusu or the game, the timing game with the little circles and you have to click
Osu?
them?
Or Os? Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Osu. Yeah. So, imagine you are playing Osu. Your your you know, your mouse settings are set, barely move, so you have to move it a lot, right? Now, take those settings and turn them to the max sensitivity. Where a little bit of your mouse moving is that is what these drivers for the second Red Bull seat because Max's driver. Max's driving style is very twitchy, as Jack said. It's very high sensitivity. Um, most drivers, and I would say almost all of driver styles are not as twitchy. They will be twitchy, but not as twitchy as Max. So you're asking someone to play Owosu who are on normal settings activity overload. So, that's a little comparison.
Yeah, and I mean, the one good thing is that I've at least seen people saying that Yuki might actually be more qualified than many to handle this kind of car, that it may come closer to matching his style than it has other drivers, but it's hard not to expect the worst.
Yeah, especially with
When
their track record.
even a guy who had been around for so long in Checo Perez, like And when the car was better for Perez to drive was when Red Bull was clear and away the best team. As soon as they had to make it faster for Max and more like Max likes it, which clearly they're in right now where they're not the fastest car, right? McLaren is clearly faster. You know that car is going to keep trending to how Max prefers it to get as much speed as you can for him. And so it's only going to get edgier and edgier for anyone in that second seat, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a shit show. Um, Yuki is not able. I wonder, like, if Yuki, I'm just spitballing here, doesn't do well in 3 races, are we gonna get Isaac Hadjar in that seat?
No, no, not with the start he's had.
Well, Hadjar hasn't done that bad. Let's be clear, he's been one second best rookie so far. So
Surely, surely, surely the first race happened
no,
for
no,
him.
that never happened. That never happened. That
Okay,
race
okay. No, I was
never
just
happened
checking.
at all.
I was just
That
checking.
race was a disaster for Lewis. That was a disaster for Isaac Hadjar. Mercedes looked better than Ferrari. That race never happened. All right. Actually, the first 2 races never happened. The only race that's happened this year is the sprint race in China. That's it. That's
Okay,
it.
you know what? I
Full on
respect the
copium.
narrative ball there. Go for it.
Full on
Yeah.
copium. On to our second F1 article. Aston Martin is selling their £74 million stake in Aston Martin F1. They are selling their minority stake in Aston Martin F1, but the sale has no effect on Aston Martin's sponsorship of the F1. They will continue to sponsor it in years' time. This is more people understanding of what Pitbull did with Trackside, I believe it was, giving more people a chance to invest. Buying a little bit more. I know Lawrence Stroll is upping his stake in Aston Martin 16 to 33%. I don't fully know how that affects the Aston Martin buying or selling their F1 stake, but that is also a thing. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I mean this realistically doesn't mean that much, right? Because it's still going to be Aston Martin, the team. They're still going to sponsor it. It
Mhm.
seems like it's just kind of a financial move for Aston Martin to get some cash on hand for
Yeah, I
whatever
think
they
they
need
were
it
talking
for.
about the article about liquidating their assets
Yeah.
to have.
Well,
So,
that's just getting cash on hand, right?
and on to our final F1 article of the week. Haas F1 to have a cherry blossom livery for the Japanese Grand Prix. And I will try to put a picture of the livery on screen at this time. It is so beautiful. Like, genuinely, this is a top 5 livery of all time for me. Like, this is chef's kiss, like, amazing. It doesn't really have too much, you know, too much talking points, but I mean, it's a good livery, so
Hey, look good, race good, right? I mean, let's see if
that's
they
what I'm
can back
saying.
up their double points. Which, if you want to talk about good rookies, hi, Ollie Behrman.
Oh yeah, Bearman is good too, but yeah, that they Ferrari got feature. Um, let's go into IndyCar. Screw it. I was gonna go into NASCAR. IndyCar. The IndyCar's Thermal GP or Thermal Club viewership down 50% from St. Petersburg. It was a good race overall. It was down a lot. Does it have to do with the outage? Is my question because that outage I feel like turned away people from that race. Now I don't know if that viewership is just long-term viewership. It's just if you watch the race for like a second, it counts. I don't know, but overall, they're down 50% from St. Petersburg. A lot of critical words have come out from fans about the racing, but I thought it was a good race. Jack, what do you think about?
I think that this is almost entirely due to going head to head with NASCAR. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you're always going to see a drop from the opener, right? In
Yep.
NASCAR, it's more than most because the opener is the Daytona 500, which is the Super Bowl of NASCAR in a lot of ways. Um, but like you're always gonna see a drop, and I think it was even more pronounced because the audiences for both of those overlap. And I think it's pretty clear from viewership numbers and just general media coverage that for many people that are fans of both, the NASCAR race is going to take priority. I know I was watching the NASCAR race during that time, and I don't think that's particularly surprising, right?
I mean, I had both up on my, I had my iPad with IndyCar and I had my computer with not F1, with NASCAR. So I was watching both at the same time. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of viewers prefer NASCAR. Fox is kind of, and right, Fox and IndyCar promoted their product a lot more than NASCAR really has this year. And yet NASCAR has a more consistent and more loyal comparative if you are both a fan of both. I think Fox also has kind of, I'm not going to say not cared about, but they've kind of like, I don't know what the right word is. They don't like show as effort in NASCAR as they do in IndyCar. And I think, yeah,
I think a lot of that's because they're new to IndyCar, so they're trying to establish that audience, make sure people know where to go and stuff like that. And I think that there needed to be a lot more promotion of IndyCar than NASCAR because of where the audience was at. Like I think it's important to note that the numbers for this race were still similar to the like exhibition at Thermal last year, which yeah, that was just an exhibition and all that, but it's not like this is some huge drop. Um I think like overall it's still higher than what the viewership was last year on NBC, even though obviously again it was an exhibition last year. Um, and they're still seeing increases elsewhere. Like the practice session had like nearly double the viewership that the practice session for St. Pete had. Um, and there are encouraging signs elsewhere where I think this is hopefully mostly an artifact from going head to head and not a sign that whatever investment they made on promoting it is so short lived that it's only going to last for one race.
yeah. Let me just point this out. You know, for Fox, Jordan, oh, I'm gonna mess up this last. It's no this. Jordan Agajanian person. She's a TikToker and motorsport TikToker. And she also runs the social media pages for Jesse Love and someone in IndyCar as well. And it's like she's done more to promote NASCAR than Fox has this year. And I get, yes, that is her job to also promote it for
I
some of
don't
the
think that's
drivers, but
necessarily true.
also I think I have a single NASCAR commercial unless it's during a NASCAR. I watch a lot of TV, so where are these commercials? Because I
I
want to
mean,
know.
I've seen obviously some of it, like a lot of it was last season because I don't watch a ton of Fox during the off season because the main sport that I would watch is football on Fox. Um, but I tend to see plenty of NASCAR advertisements during the football season. Um,
Oh,
I don't like. I think that we've noticed it with IndyCar because it came during the Super Bowl was on Fox this year, right? And then it came during Fox broadcasts of NASCAR races leading into the
yeah,
season.
maybe.
I think that I don't think that Fox bought a Super Bowl ad for NASCAR because or at least as many because I don't feel like they felt like they had to because the Daytona 500 does kind of sell itself. But I have seen, especially during the playoffs last year, like I felt like a good amount of advertising during football season.
I would like to see more specifically Wallace.
Specifically,
That's just
what
your ad campaign of Bubba Wallace. Just make that your ad campaign. Just Bubba
I
Wallace doing this.
I mean, I think he's generally in a lot of the ads. He's been one of the faces.
I I need more.
Okay.
Jack, when I'm saying every ad, I mean every ad. I want Bubba Wallace's face plastered on Times Square on every single digital billboard there is. Anyway,
Well, then you should talk to Toyota. I don't think he's like a main feature of that Toyota ad that they run about all of the Toyota teams combined.
he's not. You're right, because Bradinger's a part of it too. I think Bradinger's a part of
Yeah.
it. I forget who else, but yeah, that is true. Onto our final IndyCar article. Prima Racing gets a penalty following the thermal key. An emergency pull cable which controls the fire suppression system was out of date during Robert Schwartzman's number 83 car fire that broke out during the practice session 2 weekends ago. This Primo was fined $10,000 and 10 championship points were docked. Jack, any thoughts?
I don't know how you let this happen. To be honest, especially like for this to happen in the first place, it feels like negligence. For this to happen and for the car to catch fire with this happening is scary. Um, Although it does make me wonder a little if other teams are also like skirting this or whatever else, and it only got caught because it caught fire. But it feels like safety equipment should not be skipped over like that. And maybe they're new to IndyCar, but Prima Racing should have enough racing experience to know that safety stuff is important.
Yeah, I think this is a big dud by Prima. I think they should cancel their season and no, I'm just kidding. And I just started going off on Prima. Oh God. You to this motorsporting world. You have my respect. Just don't do it again. Um, Also, they brought in Logan Sargent. So, all right, let's go to our articles. Um, I think it was today or yesterday. The day that the NASCAR named their first ever commissioner, Steve Phelps, is the new commissioner. The role has Phelps overseeing all aspects of America's top motor splitting IMSA, the International Motorsports Association, and 15 operated tracks. And because that vacant spot was now vacant, um, Steve O'Donnell was promoted from COO to president to the role left Phelps. Um, Jack, what do you think of this? Do NASCAR need a commissioner?
Um, I realistically, I don't know what it's gonna do that much. Like, I mean, I guess we'll be seeing more of Steve O'Donnell than we already were, and less of Steve Phelps. As far as I don't think either of us watch IMSA super regularly, and I don't know what his involvement on the track level would be. Um, but this feels like one of those things where I don't know if I have no idea what effect it's gonna have. I don't get the sense it's gonna change too much.
Feel like half the teams just fold in the next year. Oh, well, that's what it did.
I don't think
Because there's
so.
no frick. Well, I mean, at the point, all the teams might fold, might as well fold and just start their own, racing series. Because at this point, there's no revenue sharing. So, or at least if
But
there is, it's
that's
not good.
that's more on the Francis than it is on Phelps or O'Donnell.
Rich pricks. Anyway,
Okay.
uh, that's my second NASCAR article. Um, Screw it. We're gonna skip that last one. Second NASCAR article. Eric Jones was disqualified from Martinsville after finishing 20th. Flag Eric Jones, number 43 car, failed to reach the minimum weight requirement and post. Um, this is the wrong motorsport, but F1 had a similar issue with Pierre Gasly and Charles Leclerc cars at the Chinese GP a week ago. Jack, what are your thoughts on Eric Jones getting disqualified?
I mean, I think they decided not to appeal because
Yes, they did not
they
appeal.
determined they didn't leave themselves enough margin, right?
Hmm.
It's same thing as I said with the F1 disqualifications. Like the line is the line, and whatever leeway there is, teams are going to treat that as the new line. So clearly they're accepting it, and it's just, I don't know. It's unfortunate, but is what it is. Teams are always, especially in NASCAR. I mean, it's a sport whose whole history is people pushing it legally or illegally, and you're gonna see that everywhere. It's just, when do you cross the line?
Agree. Now onto my favorite. This isn't really an article. I mean, I, I just want to talk about it. Should fighting be allowed to settle disputes in NASCAR? Podcasters and NASCAR insiders Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck discuss allowed to settle altercations. This is coming after the Xfinity Series race when Sammy Taylor Gray in the last lap wreck. My personal opinion: screw it, let them fight, but let it be organized, right? If you're gonna fight a driver, you call them out.
Organized.
What?
Organized.
Organized. Right? You call
You
them
want
out.
a you want a boxing ring in the middle of the track?
Dude, I want a full-on boxing ring in the middle of Talladega next to the mud pit. And I want the drivers to walk into the middle of Talladega and fight
Make
in
'em
the
go.
boxing ring.
Make them go barbecue sauce wrestling.
Dude, screw it. Get in the barbecue sauce pit and start boxing each other. Like, dead serious. Like, by organized, I mean just, like, call someone out, get them on, like, a couple feet apart, 3, 2, 1, and fight, and just let them duke it out until one either is knocked out or until one just gives up. If death does occur, which it won't, um, there's an issue. But I say let them box, or fight, or kick, or punch, or Luis Suarez bite. Just anything to get out the aggression. Because I'm going to be honest, if I was Taylor Gray, I'd be beating the living crap out of Sammy Smith post race. Like, I would be waiting for him outside the care center. As soon as he's cleared, bang! Like, that was his win, and so yeah.
Yeah, it's clearly part of the sport. It happens often enough. It gets promoted by the TV partners every time it happens. So, like, I don't know if making it officially okay is ever gonna be a thing, but I don't know. Kind of a hockey style approach where you let them fight and then you punish them after. That's I don't care all that much, but I think that it's
Hockey
going to
style
happen either way.
Hockey style approach. Once two cars are wrecked, get out, start boxing in the middle of the track while the
The
race is
one
still going on.
the one thing I will say about NASCAR fights is they should make a rule that if you don't take off your helmet, you are suspended for the rest of the season. Because people that try to
Oh,
fight with their helmet on, absolute bitch move. It's the worst.
the biggest bitches, dude.
It actually, like, trying to fight with a helmet on is stupid.
Dude, just if you're gonna fight. Fight like a fighter. Like, take off the helmet.
Yeah.
This ain't no inside Logan Paul shit, right? You're a man. You're in your 30s or 40s or however old you are. Take off the helmet, fists up, and go. But yeah, Taylor Gray definitely needs to beat the crap out of Sammy Smith. But he he's a better man than I am because I would have. Dude, my adrenaline would have been so
Which
high.
which Gray brother was it?
I think it was Taylor. Or
No, no,
sorry,
no,
not
no.
Tanner. Taylor Gray.
Separate. The one that was on their phone.
What?
It was Taylor Gray. Uh, I thought it was
What
Taylor Gray.
happened?
Sorry,
What
when you said
happened?
he's a better man than me, it popped back into my head. A few years back, he was recording a video on his phone while driving at Daytona, And so he got penalized for it. But texting and driving, but it's filming videos and driving at a
In
super
a
speedway.
race?
No, at a test session.
Oh.
But it's still at a
Dude,
super speedway.
content is
That's you're
content,
going like
man.
200 miles an
Content
hour.
is
No,
content,
content is
dude.
not content.
Content
You
is
are not texting.
content.
You are not texting and driving at Daytona Super Speedway. That's not.
Content
That's
is
not
content. I don't know
okay.
what to say. No, it's not. But content is
But no,
content, dude.
that was like 2021. Like that was 4 years
That is
ago.
so
It
stupid.
just
Why
when you
would
said
you
he's a
do
better
that?
man than me, that just popped into my head.
I
Just
mean,
like,
maybe he's not a better man than me, dude. Maybe not. Maybe not. Because that I would never do that. There's no texting and driving. There's no drinking and driving. Like no, you
it
you
it
drive and that's it.
it happened when he was in Arca, like, and he was, he was,
Even better.
it was 4 years ago, and he's still young now. Like all that
Yeah.
thing, you grow, learn, whatever. But it's just such a funny thing to
It's never
do
allowed.
because what do you mean you're posting a video while you're driving at Daytona Super
Dude,
Speedway?
recording a video, maybe.
Posting it on social
Just
media.
recording it. Posting it on social media while in the car?
I
No.
don't know if he posted it while in the car, but he posted a video that he took while he was driving. Like posting that publicly, you've got to know that you're gonna get in
Okay.
trouble for it.
What I think should be allowed, right? Instead of doing that, you have a GoPro,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's fine. An in-car
And you
camera's
hook
fine.
the GoPro up. Yeah, you hook the GoPro up and you drive. That's literally what I would do if I was racing. I
But
would get team permission to hook up a GoPro.
holding the phone, that can't
No,
happen.
that's dangerous.
Yeah.
That can't happen. No,
No,
that's
yeah.
dangerous. But content is content. So, well, you know,
You're gonna go to
uh,
Lime Rock and like selfie cam the whole thing. You
dude,
like next to the wheel.
me learning how to drive in the car with my just like recording it. Oh God, Dad, take the wheel real quick. I gotta film a TikTok.
uh. Anyway,
Banger, be a banger TikTok. Drive hands. TikTok. Anyway,
all
that
right.
is week's episode of Apex to Oval. You slapped your desk and the microphone started ringing as like at the same time I slapped my desk. That was really thank you for watching episode. I believe this is 10. We're at 10 episodes. We've been doing this for 10 weeks. That's crazy. Thank you for watching episode 10 of Apex to Oval. And Jack, do you have any final words?
In approximately 4 hours, Cody Ware will be the best driver in NASCAR Cup Series history. It'll also be April. It's
Not
too
because
early
it's
to get
April.
any kind of actual prank in, but gotta at least embrace the
Yeah.
spirit.
So, not because it's April Fool's tomorrow, but generally being serious, Joey Logano supremacy, he's going to win at Darlington. Anyway, thank you guys for
Joey Logano,
watching.
Ryan Preece 1-2.
Oh, Joey Logano 1, Ryan Preece 2, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin 4,
I'll take it.
Kyle Larson DNF. Thank you guys for
Hey!
watching, and we'll talk to you next week.